Hi guys, it's Misty. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'm super excited to be sharing this new stamp set with you from Simon Says Stamp. It's called Mom Flowers and it's part of the Fluttering by new release that is available today. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Simon Says Stamp. I'm loving the new packaging. I didn't realize the old packaging said do something creative every day. And the new packaging in bigger letters on the back says Simon Says do something creative every day. So I love that little flag on the back there. Anyway, great set. I stamped them all out. There's some big moms. There's in little letters says thankful for all that you have done for me. Love you. All that I am is because of you. Thinking of you makes my heart happy. Mom, you are the best. Happy Mother's Day. You're so precious to me. Miss you. Mom. And then love you, Mom was the last one. And then some pretty flowers too. So I'm going to go ahead and do some ink blending on this. I didn't know what kind of flowers those were, so I just decided to color them in a rainbow of colors. This is my new, okay, before I get to this, if you want to see what I made for my last week's project or my last video, go ahead and click in the card in the upper right hand corner and it'll take you to that video. So I started storing my Distress Oxide blending sponges in these little Ziplocs because, as you can see from my picked raspberry stamp set there, the Distress Oxides are so juicy that, and even though I stamp it out when I'm done, there is still so much ink in the pad. I usually Velcro them on the bottom of the ink pads, and when I stack them, they were leaving marks on the top of my ink pads, and it drives me a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I even thought about buying new ink pads to replace the ones that have the marks on it. Is that weird or crazy? So anyway, I did order, I have a new ink storage unit. I just recently bought a third one from Organize More, and I don't have it up yet. So yeah, I don't know. If you guys have any, how are you guys storing your Distress Oxide inks? Do you guys have this problem or is it just me? But I'd love to hear how you guys are storing them. They might go back on the bottom when I have them in their little cubbies, but for now, I know I'm not going to buy the ink pads. I want to, but I won't because it's a waste of an ink pad. But all right, I just hit this with my heat tool really quick to make sure it was dry. And then I use my anti-static tool. And I'm just going to do a quick test to make sure that the the embossing powder isn't going to stick all over the place. And it looks like I'm good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp several of these flowers out. And I'm trying to get each flower to be two different colors, to have two different colors in it. So I'm going to stamp each one of those, and then I'm going to put some white embossing powder on them. So when I have several images like this, I'll go ahead and use either a piece of paper or a coffee filter instead of the little container, just to make it easier to move down to the next image. I hope that makes sense. If I'm doing a little image, I could just do it right over the container and the embossing powder falls right back into the container. But when I have several, I need a bigger area. Makes sense to me. All right, just took a fine paintbrush to get off any stray embossing powder. And then I heat set those. Love how these look with the color and then the white embossing powder. White embossing powder. I don't know why I can't say that. Just trying to figure out how I want to arrange these. And I'm liking this. And I was hoping to have this other video up before this one, but it didn't quite work out. I played with alcohol inks for the first time, and I have another card that was my first project with the alcohol inks, but here are some of the backgrounds I came up with. And I was really loving this particular colored background. So I'm using my grid acetate there to figure out where on the paper, because I think it's a 5x7, if I remember right, the Yupo paper, figure out where I wanted to cut it exactly. That little grid comes in handy for several things. I'm going to use it again too here in a bit. Just love those colors, and I'm pretty sure this is the one that Bubby made. I didn't even make this one. Oh, I didn't do a video, but I posted a card on my blog using the alcohol inks. And I was saying that I don't know, I guess I think I tried too hard on the alcohol backgrounds, and Bubby jumps in and makes these really cool backgrounds. And I think it's just goes to show like I was thinking too much into it and he was just going at it, playing, having a good time. And I like his backgrounds the best. Go figure. So I'm using a little grid here again to center my mom stamp. I'm putting it on vellum and I wanted it to be, I scoot over an inch because I wanted to wrap it around the back of the card front and then center it from there. So that little grid is very handy for things like this. So this is, it's like a shimmery or glimmery vellum. I can't even remember where I got it, but it's really pretty. And I couldn't decide. I did it first with the platinum embossing powder, and I just didn't like it with this particular background. So I did it again in silver, and I liked this one much better. So again, just picking up or just getting rid of the stray embossing powder. And then I'll heat set this. One thing I didn't like about the alcohol inked backgrounds is the color rubs off. These have been dried for several days now, and every time I touched it, I got more and more color would rub off on my fingers. And I don't know how many card bases I have blue fingerprints all over now, because I don't know if you're supposed to put something over it or if I did something wrong. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it, but I haven't seen anybody say anything about the colors rubbing off. So if anybody knows why that color rubs off, or if that's just normal, let me know, please, because that's the only part that I didn't really like about the alcohol backgrounds. After I cut this down to the size I want it, I'm going to quickly add one of the stitched borders from, I think it's Lawn Fawn, to the top and bottom. And then I'm going to use this acetate grid again, just to make sure I have it where I want it. And then I'm just going to score both sides so I know where to fold the vellum. I really love how this turned out. I love all the color, and the stamp set is coming out at the perfect time because I was just starting to think about my Mother's Day cards. So I was happy to receive this set. Just gonna leave the white card base as the border since there's so much color already in the card. And I'm gonna quickly place them in a circle again. And then very carefully, I'm going to pull each one out and glue it down in place. I didn't want me to shift the flowers over and then the mom not be centered. So I put the mom above it there and kept checking to make sure that the mom was still going to be centered over the flowers. And then once I got the flowers all glued down, I should have just glued the sides of the vellum, and and then it would be glued to the inside of the card base. But I added some glue to the back side of the letters. And then I thought I wasn't happy after I did that because the card's not flat. So where I put the glue, you could see where the card popped up a little bit more. You could see it through that silver embossing powder. And yes, you can see it really good there. I'm happy now it kind of mellowed out. You can't really see it at all in some of the pictures. But when I did this, I thought I just wasn't liking how it was looking. And then I think it needed just a little something else. So I just added a silver strip of glitter paper to the bottom. Wiped off the excess glue. And then I'll just add a couple clear Nuvo drops. And I love this one so much, and since I have to make 3 Mother's Day cards. I went ahead and made another one. Oh, first I'm just gonna glue a piece of white cardstock to the top so you can't see where those vellum flaps fold in. But I made another one with another alcohol inked background with a really beautiful like teal color. And then, so there's the next one I made. That's why I made such a big page of the ink blended rainbow color so I can make a couple of these cards. But I did it on acetate, and I loved the way this mom looked on the acetate. I thought it was really cool. And instead of putting the score tape on, you know, everywhere on the background, I just put it on certain areas so that I wouldn't have that same problem. And that is my card. Thank you, or cards, I should say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to head over to the Simon Says Stamp website and check out their new release. And I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.